Hey, good morning. I'm Patricia Murphy. It's Thursday. This is Seattle Now. It's Nutcracker season at the Pacific Northwest Ballet. For many, it's a family tradition. This year, 4 performances of the Nutcracker will feature audio-described dance. An artist narrates the live performance. It helps people who are blind or low vision be more immersed in the experience. More on how that works in a minute. But first, let's get you caught up. We've hit one of our first seasonal milestones. The North Cascades Highway will close for the winter tonight at 6 o'clock. WashDOT closes the scenic stretch of State Route 20 each year around this time. The heavy snowfall and avalanche risk make it too dangerous to keep the road between the Ross Dam Trailhead and Silver Star Gate open to traffic. If you must go that way, you'll have to wait until spring. We've seen a lot of sun around the Seattle area lately, but keep your raincoat handy. Some big-time precipitation is headed our way. The National Weather Service says we'll get a 1/4 inch of rain today, tonight, and tomorrow. The rain will stick around through the weekend, which will be pretty warm, actually. Temperatures in the 50s. And this one's for you, Sound Transit riders. The agency is taking your feedback about things like dependability, cleanliness, and safety. The results are supposed to help them identify where to improve and what to prioritize. It goes beyond light rail users. They also want feedback from people who ride the T-Line in Tacoma, Sounder trains, and express buses operated by Sound Transit. The survey is open through Friday. Check back for more headlines on tonight's episode of Seattle Now. The holiday season is here. Cue the tree lightings, craft markets, shows, and one of the most enduring mainstays, Pacific Northwest Ballet's performance of the Nutcracker. This year, what can be a visual treat comes alive in a different way for patrons who are blind, like June Roberts.
I was born with what's called RP. Luckily for me, it was mild, and I was able to see for a good part of my life. It's about more than 15 years ago when I lost it completely. And by that time I was living here in Washington State. And, well, we went to the ballet.
June had nudged PNB to do more, and several years later came the exciting news. For June, the audio-described dance service was a long time coming.
I'm very thrilled and excited about it. And anytime I find somebody that has a sight problem, I tell them about it right away. Because it makes you part of the audience. It makes you a part of what's going on. You don't feel left out anymore.
She says PNB's descriptive service is a big part of the draw and the experience of being there live.
I've gone now several times. I'm due to go back. We're going to see the Nutcracker going with my family. The program is excellent, and of course, what makes it that way is the person who does the descriptive. I mean, she is very good, and she makes it come alive with her description.
Allison Osborne is the voice behind the dance description at the ballet. She's based in Portland and has been doing this work for 6 years. Really appreciate you taking the time to chat.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here.
So we're talking about described dance this week because the Pacific Northwest Ballet's described dance Nutcracker performances start Saturday. What will audiences hear from you this Saturday?
You'll get settled into your seats and you'll have a headset with an embedded receiver. And I'm going to have about 15 to 20 minutes of pre-show notes that will touch on highlights in the program. It'll give a brief overview of the ballet, who's dancing which roles. I'll describe any costumes or sets that I won't have time to describe during the ballet. And I will go over about 7 ballet terms that it will be helpful to know because they're used so frequently. I'm going to do a quick little exercise right now where we can practice one of the moves that's used a lot. And we can do this right now as we're sitting down in our seats in the theater. This is called a susu.
Okay.
You make a loose fist and you spring your middle and index fingers forward. And when you do that, cross your middle finger over your index finger. Okay, so just let it spring out. And don't let it go all the way to crossing, but let it go right where it's landed, right on top. That's a susu.
Oh.
So a dancer jumps right up and tucks one of their legs so far behind the other leg that it looks like an extended or elongated isosceles triangle. They're up on one point, and all you see is that one, it looks like one leg on one foot, but the heels jut out. And in terms of that move for Nutcracker, in the Waltz of the Snowflakes in particular, that resembles the point of a snowflake. So I'm going to be mentioning susus, and you can do that and remember what that looks like as we're going along. Yeah, susu, it means over under.
That is extremely helpful. So you will say that.
Yes, I will. This is what you would hear after we had read the notes from the program. This is not the opening of the show, but it's the Waltz of the Snowflakes. I would be squeezing this in right before the music starts. The dancers wear their hair in high buns, tucked with bejeweled open framework crowns, designed like pointy snow crystals. They wear shimmery ice white satin bodices with delicate off-the-shoulder sleeves of fluttery triangular silk petals. Their tutus are calf length, with 9 layers of tulle and organza, and an overlay of iridescent silk in rounded diamond shapes of varying lengths. The skirts have so much loft in them that they remain suspended for just a breath before settling down after turns. They are so billowy they create their own snowy whirlwinds, and the dancers all wear point shoes. So when the excerpt begins, we're in the clearing of a forest of birch trees looming 40 feet tall. They lean in to form a natural archway. It's dark with moody indigo lighting, and a large snowflake spotlight illuminates the floor. With quick, tiny steps on point, a snowflake dancer floats into the center of the clearing. Turning in place, with her bourrée steps, swiveling torso, and undulating arms, she embodies the charged moment before snowfall. Whispers of snow drift down. She springs into susu to her right then left, an invitation for more snowflakes to join. She sails off in a jeté. A second snowflake runs on, also does 2 susus, and leaps off. Another snowflake breezes through, arms tracing the every which way of falling snow. And now 5 snowflake dancers converge in a mini flurry and sweep off. Their energy is playful and jubilant. One becomes airborne in a grand jeté as she vanishes into the forest.
I'm there, Allison. I really am. And that was a beautiful description. I closed my eyes for the first half of it, just to try to experience what you were really saying without seeing you. And I saw it. And that's so lovely. It was so lovely. What are you most interested in conveying to people with this work?
Yeah, well, that's the thing about ballet. You know, it's poetic and it's athletic. And I want both of those to come across.
I'm curious how you know what to focus on. How do you make that choice?
There's a lot of ways of getting at that. When there's too much happening on stage, you just focus on theme or mood. Yeah. It serves the piece better to do that than to try to pick out individual moments.
Your descriptions are so deeply resourced and sourced. And I find that, you know, I'm guessing most of your work goes in up front, doing a lot of feeling, looking, talking with people. Let's talk a little bit about your process.
You're right that it is very much front loaded. If it's live, if I'm in town, of course I'm going to rehearsals, but for PNB, I'm getting videos of former productions. And I watch it many, many times. My first take is what I call it. And the first time I watch it, I try to just watch it as a regular person enjoying the ballet. Never works. Analysis right off the bat. The danger is in the research because there's so much and you can just go down rabbit holes. And so it's like, oh, well, what's that facial hair called? What kind of beard is that? Oh, where did it come from? Oh, some dude in, 18th century France. And, let's find out about him. I mean, it's just like, oh, my goodness. So you got to rein yourself back in. And when I get it then to sort of winnowed down to the key pieces, the pith of it, that's when I'll start to interview dancers, ask them their favorite parts, ask them how they would describe this part.
Like PNB soloist Leah Tirada, who worked closely with Allison last season while recovering from an injury.
And so it was fun for me to exercise the skill of articulation to Allison, to then say, like, this step is really about connecting with this person on downstage right of you, and this sweeping motion actually informs their next decision. And so that's a conversation that I think an audience member might pick up. And I think that is something that a dancer is trying to communicate.
To prepare for a performance, Allison occasionally tests out her descriptions on her first graders.
I'm a teacher. I sometimes will read my descriptions to my students and have them hop up, and we have a little dance break. And I see if they dance what I described. So I sort of know if it landed correctly or not.
You have your own focus group.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I try to use a lot of words that relate to sound and music and texture as well. Like this is audio description where sight is decentered. So that's where the emotional component comes in, and the multi-sensorial, where we're just trying other ways to get at what's happening on stage. Okay, so then have it pretty controlled. I still am taking I'm getting up to PNB with an inch thick of notebook, but I know what I want to say. I have big highlights. I know moments that I for sure need to hit. But once the ballet starts, I'm not able to read my notes. My eyes don't leave the stage, really. Because you got to watch. But it's so embedded, because I have been working on it for months. It's pretty embedded.
This is the art, what you're doing here, because when I worked as a reporter, so much of my work was taking in large systems of information, of stories, of outcomes. And then it's showtime, right? At the end, where you're putting it all in place, deciding what's most important for people to hear, in your case, about the ballet. I find this part of your work really fascinating, because it takes so much preparation to be able to go through a performance live. What is that like for you?
Well, it's nerve-wracking, of course. It's live,
The adrenaline must be pumping.
Yeah. If only I could bottle it and then use it other times when, I can't get out of bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tricky sometimes to know how much to talk. And I do tend to talk throughout the whole thing, because I've had several people. I did not know what FOMO meant, but I was taught FOMO, fear of missing out. So I do go on that. I err on that side, err in air quotes, because somebody can turn it off if they need a break. Even, Balanchine even said, if you don't like the dance, don't look, close your eyes and listen to the music.
It seems like you bring so much of yourself and your observations to this work. Are there other ways to approach described dance, Allison?
Yes, this would be frustrating to somebody, for instance, who knew a show extremely well and maybe were classically trained. They might just prefer to know all the ballet terms. And people do sometimes, not at PNB, but people have sometimes hired a describer to say, I just really want to know about this part of it. I don't need you to be the soundtrack in terms of emotion. I know ballet and I want to just know the moves. It's like, okay, we can do that. But another way to describe, and what we sometimes say, is that just say what you see, which is a little more traditional. But dance could definitely be described that way, and is that way. I had to do a tiny section of the snowflakes. A snowflake dancer moves with quick, tiny steps on tiptoe to the center of the clearing. She dances in place while swiveling her torso and undulating her arms. Snow drifts down. She springs forward to her right and left, then sails off in a jeté. A second snowflake runs on. She also springs forward and leaps off. Another snowflake breezes through, waving her arms in the air. 5 snowflake dancers run on, intersect at the center, and rush off. One does a grand jeté as she leaves. A little less detail, and wouldn't have included the interpretive details, which I did, which, for instance, when she jumps forward in Susu, in the other description I had, that she embodied the charged moment for snowfall, because dancers said that's what they were directed to do. And it totally makes sense, because she's just quivering. And it's that, when you're outside too, when you're looking up, it's like, it's like there was literally electricity going through your body waiting for snow to fall in real life.
I know it. And also the beautiful description of the costumes.
I mean, it's so fun to describe costumes like that.
Who are your listeners?
It's not just blind or visually impaired at all. Sighted companions will listen along with their blind friends, because they get the same experience then. And that's really beautiful when that happens. Of quite a few people like audio description who are sighted. Sometimes you might just want to rest your eyes for whatever reason. You might rather listen than watch the whole ballet. Children also like it. There have been some very wiggly kiddos at the sensory-friendly performances. And one mom came up last year and said, wow, my two little guys have never sat still for 2 hours in their entire life.
That's the kind of magic that keeps parents and the ballet satisfied. This year's Nutcracker performances featuring audio description are matinees on December 6th, 12th, and 13th, and the evening show on December 12th. Well, Allison Osborne, really fun talking with you. Thanks so much for describing your process and the work you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for expressing interest. It was a hoot to talk with you.
Appreciate you listening to Seattle Now. If we were in your top 5 podcasts on Spotify Wrapped this week, thanks. Audio from the Waltz of the Snowflakes came from the Pacific Northwest Ballet. Today's episode was produced by Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers. It was edited by Caroline Chamberlain Gomez. Our production team also includes Andy Hurst, Vaughn Jones, and Paige Browning. Greg Kramer does our theme music. Seattle Now and KUOW Public Radio are members of the NPR network. I'm Patricia Murphy. See you soon.